27, 2025. Our first order of business is the call to order, Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And as always, I welcome those who have taken the time in their evening to come out to Town Hall tonight. Welcome. And to those who are following us tonight through Facebook or Channel 23, Carroll County Media Center. And thanks to Carroll Media Center for their support on this evening. Our first order of business after the pledge is the approval of the minutes. This commission took a break in December, so our minutes go back to the November meeting of November 25th. Each commissioner has been provided a copy of those minutes, so I'll pause in case there are any notes that you have made. And after a minute or so, then I will entertain a motion to approve or comments with regard to editing the current minutes. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the November 2024 minutes.
Commissioner O'Malley has motion approval. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's seconded by Martina. Any discussion or edits on the content in the current minutes? Hearing no need for edits, all those in favor of the motion to approve the minutes of November 25th, 2024, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? None opposed. The minutes are passed unanimously. Thank you. And thank you, Deborah. After the minutes on our agenda, we always give time to those citizens here who wish to make public comments on any topics not seen in tonight's agenda. And I say that so that everyone knows that when we get to any agenda item, I do always allocate time for a citizen comment pertaining to that topic. So again, open the floor. I'll recognize anyone who wishes to come forward to the microphone and the table to make a comment on any item in the town whatsoever, not related to the current agenda. Again, a call for anyone who wishes to make a public comment. Not seeing any, I close the public comments, citizen comments portion of tonight's agenda, and now we'll turn to the liaison county planners that we have established with the town from both Frederick and Carroll counties. Those representatives are Vanessa Moreno from Frederick County. And Vanessa, if you want to come on up. Good to see you again. Seems like that. Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Exactly.
All right, so just a few updates for you all. As you may already know, the two site development plans for the quantum loophole.
Yeah, so you could just sort of bend that down towards your mouth. That's perfect.
There we go. As you may have already know, the two site development plans for the quantum loophole projects have been approved by the Planning Commission back in September. One is 111 acres, whereas the other is 55 acres. And so that project is continuing to move along. Our office is currently working on the annual and 5-year report that was required by the Maryland Department of Planning. And so we're gathering all our bearings at the moment and, doing all that data gathering. Our office is also workshopping the South Frederick Corridor form-based code with the Planning Commission. They are currently working on the implementation processes and changes to the zoning ordinance that would have to go into place. And that is expected to head to another workshop, in another Planning Commission workshop in February. The Myersville and Middletown reconciliation plans went before the County Council on January 7th and 14th for informational presentations, and were recently approved on January 21st. And just a brief update on Cherry Run. As previously stated, Cherry Run is currently in the development review process. for a proposed subdivision of 5 parcels off of Green Valley Road. The development is to include 665 single-family units and 164 townhomes. An MOU with FCPS is currently in the works for a new elementary school site off of Musseter Road, and the site was donated by a developer. And we're expecting to see Cherry Run head to the Planning Commissioner's desk sometime in March. And yes, that's all I have for you for this evening.
Fantastic. Thank you, Vanessa. And then does the commission have any questions for her on this news from Frederick County?
I have my usual question, Vanessa. Is there any development in the southeast quadrant of the county that is in proximity to the extremities of Mount Airy that it may have developed or it may be underway since the last time that?
Sure, yeah. We just finished wrapping up updating the fourth quarter for the residential pipeline. Is where we keep track of all the ongoing projects. New Market had no recorded lots or approved site plans, so there's a good bit of projects in the pipeline for New Market, but nothing has moved forward along, and we're not seeing so much activity in the area as of now.
Well, that's always going to be an interest of ours.
Of course.
Because historically, that's one of the fastest growing areas of Frederick County. And it's in proximity to Mount Airy. So in terms of pressure on our locality, that's something of interest to us.
Absolutely, and I'll be sure to try and just keep an extra eye on that area and those projects for next time.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Question.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Can you clarify the quantum loophole?
Yeah, I didn't write too many notes down, and I'm sorry for that. Just that those projects were recently approved back in December.
The data centers, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the site plans for those.
I have a quick question. Really not so much a question, but just to kind of springboard off of you mentioning Frederick County owes the state a 5-year report. That's the 5-year report as the midway of your master plan.
Yes. Sorry, I should have been more clear.
No,
but
no,
yes.
no, not at all. I got it. I just wanted to kind of mention that because we're in the midst of crossing the goal line with our master plan. And so your comment is kind of further education for the citizens of the town that, you know, at the midpoint of that 10-year, for us, it'll be 2028.
Right.
Because our plan goes 23 to 33. So in 2028, we'll be doing that similar kind of work to report back to state MDP as to how is the plan coming, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Yeah, and they've changed the processes a little bit, what's required and what we are required to submit. So be happy to provide any guidance when the time comes for you guys.
Gotcha. Any other questions for Ms. Moreno? Sure. Mayor?
Test. My question is, you may have said it, but I might have missed it when I was back here. Is it Cherry Hill?
Cherry Run.
Cherry Run development, is all that going to be annexed into New Market?
No, there's no annexation plans in the moment.
So it's going to be developed as a county development?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting, but over 600 houses.
Close to 700, yeah.
So in that area, I mean, right now, New Market's somewhere around 5,000. You're probably going to add close to that to it. That's going to be like 10,000 people over there.
Yeah, our pipeline is tracking about 5,000 planned units for that area as of now. So.
Yeah, so essentially you're going to have the same size as Mount Airy. It's going to be sitting over there at Green Valley at Highway 75. So that's a big development. That's going to have an impact on us too.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, and the school you mentioned associated with that development. So the county is clearly seeing that in conjunction with that kind of growth, they're going to need to provide a school.
An elementary school.
It's an elementary, okay. All right, so I was curious as to whether it was multi-level to bring relief to Leonore or any of the higher schools.
Right.
But it's just elementary.
Just elementary as of now.
Fantastic.
There's a spot for the high school too,
Yeah,
over there, right by Winston Knoll.
so they're the two schools.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I thought we heard about a high school already.
Yeah.
And now it's,
That piece of land, for the Green Valley or something.
How about the high school?
not currently aware of the high school. I just know that right now we're working with FCPS for an MOU and trying to facilitate those conversations a little bit more, so.
Super.
Yeah.
I have one question.
Sure.
So you mentioned form-based code. I thought the county was looking into that because it wasn't working right, and I thought that they were trying to do some research, but it sounds like they're moving forward in the
Yes, we're moving
South
forward
Frontage
just
section?
with the implementation processes and any updates to the zoning ordinance that would have to go into place.
Okay.
So still very much in the workshopping process. And,
Okay.
yeah, still very much ongoing.
I'm going to throw an idea out here and see if the commissioners would rally behind it, and that is to kind of focus your good reporting. We're absolutely interested in the form-based code efforts because we are going to be looking at design guidelines for the town in the coming months. So I don't want to say we're not interested in those other things, but if there's kind of a spotlight in the future, Vanessa, with regard to this Cherry Run in the New Market area, I think we would enjoy that kind of
Absolutely.
spotlight.
Okay, great, yeah.
I mean,
That's
like
good to know.
you mentioned Myersville and Middletown. I used to live in Middletown when I was active duty in the Pentagon. But on this side of the county, I think
Gotcha.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
absolutely.
Beautiful.
We're
Okay.
fine with a bit. Okay. Well,
Any other questions? No? Well, thank you again so much.
sure.
Yeah, appreciate it. And our liaison also to Carroll County was Hannah, but I believe Hannah has moved on, and the county has yet to name a replacement. Is that true, John?
That's true. No
Okay.
replacement's been
Gotcha.
informed to me yet.
So we'll be optimistic about having Carroll County fill Hannah's big shoes and bringing that perhaps to the February meeting. And if, just as Frederick County did so well with replacing their liaison, if you get a heads up and we want to get together and kind of do a meet and greet with that liaison before the February meeting, I think that would start building that bridge with them even better. So just a thought. I leave it to you, of course, John. With that, then, our agenda item number 5 is to take a look at the annual report that's required of the town. All commissioners were provided an advance copy to take a look at. John, I believe you've made some edits.
Yeah, so I put revised copies at your desk and also out onto the table out there. So if somebody got in a packet beforehand, that's not accurate. What's out on the desk out there is accurate. So, and one of the changes was number 1 item, the subdivision and site plan approvals. So Dennis subdivision was currently 2 lots of record when it came in, and that's why there's only 3 new lots, with a total of 5 lots, 5 dwelling units. So that was the change, and I put an asterisk down there to mention that. So that's why the numbers are sort of different there. Go ahead.
If I can just elaborate, so as we all know, I believe that boulevard or that street for this division is Chevrolet Court. Is that the proposed name?
I think it's Chevrolet Court or Bow Tie.
Something like that, yeah. And so the 2 houses we see and the difference between those numbers are the 2 existing houses that faced South Main, am I correct?
Right, well,
Yeah.
there was houses there many years ago. It's
Right,
been a Chevrolet dealership, but there was 2 lot of records.
Gotcha.
Now, the two new lots at the front will be facing Main Street to simulate Main Street
Yeah,
Boulevard.
in harmony with the boulevard there.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry for that, but
No,
I just wanted to make sure everybody knew the delta of 2 there.
sure. Are there any questions? Or anybody have any questions about it?
Page 2. Did you want to elaborate on page 2? Or take us through, I'm just looking, if you could, John, if you don't mind, just take us
Yeah,
through
no
each page.
No worries.
Okay.
No worries. Yeah, so Twin Ridge Professional Park, Section 2, Lot 18A. That, of course, was the 3-lot industrial business complex that'll be right across from the community garden. Twin Ridge Professional Park, Section 2, Lot 7A, of course, is the Cube Smart subdivision, or the Cube Smart site plan. And no residential elements.
Right.
So we'll go to page 3. Pankland annexation was the only annexation that fell in that year.
Right.
And that's all for that page. And the next page, there's no changes to the APFO restrictions. And the new parks are park changes. We have the rails to trail heading west from Hill Street, the capping, beautification, et cetera. And the last one is,
Before we leave,
go ahead.
yeah, if I don't mind, Barney, you have a copy of that page. Yeah, and so at the top where we talk about were there any new roads or substantial changes in roads, obviously we didn't include the traffic circle or the Prospect Avenue Main Street intersection. So in reverse order, would the Prospect Avenue Main Street intersection qualify as a significant enough event?
No, it's not considered
Okay.
new, they're usually
Okay.
looking for length of roads when we talk about.
Gotcha,
when we
okay,
report to the state.
gotcha.
But no new lengths.
And the traffic circle doesn't qualify for entry
Possibly when,
Hopefully
when that
next
goes
year,
in.
next year
for this year.
for the report for January of
And then
26.
Backacre Circle, we did already have all of Backacre Circle, even though we just, did the final surface of the last section.
Right. Before they
We did
hand it.
already have that already as part of our road network.
And that's why that was removed off of the original copy.
Gotcha. Ah, okay. And once they do that, then it hands over to the town. Right, okay. All right, sorry for that interruption. We're good? Page 5?
Well, I could have swore I changed this too. So were the changes to the PFA amendments? And the answer is yes, not no. And again, this was for the annexation of the Pankland. So our boundaries changed through Carroll County. And the new maps as part of the master plan will reflect. And then the last page, of course, is the letter that goes back to Carroll County.
Thanks so much, John and Barney, and I'm going to open to any commissioner questions or comments regarding this annual report and its draft. I think we've identified one small edit on page 5, the yes and no under the priority funding area, right? Which is item 1 at the top there. Just uncheck the no box, right? Okay. Any questions again? No questions, then I'll make a motion that we approve the annual report with the edit on page 5 to uncheck the no box for the PFA amendments. Motion's been made. Is there a second? Commissioner Butts has seconded the motion to approve the annual report with the exception of the amendment of unchecking the no box on page 5. Any discussion, further discussion or edits? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion to accept the annual report with a small edit on page 5, John, is unanimous. Thank you. Thank you for your work on that, and also with Barney. And I'll sign that at some time in the coming week. Yeah, give me a quick call and I'll come down and we'll take care of that. Okay, fantastic. The next item on the agenda for tonight is item 6, discussion of the possible changes to the design guidelines. And if I may, John, I'll lead off with a little bit of information on this. This agenda item is the reason why the read-ahead package for the commissioners included copies of our current design guidelines. They are in 2 tranches. One has to deal with the design guidelines for historic rehabilitation, and one's just pure, if you're coming into the town and you need some guidance on how to put together an elevation that is going to be in harmony with the town. It's that sort of document. So there's two flavors of our current design guidelines. If I'm not mistaken, my research shows that those two tranches of design guidelines were generated roughly in the Town Planning Commission Council deliberation in the 2010 timeframe, if I'm not mistaken. So it's reasonable that we undertake in the coming year as one of our tasks, bringing them up to a more contemporary set of guidelines. The master plan that's in draft for the council's consideration does include in Chapter 8 an objective that the Planning Commission has decided to become the objective owner of it, and it's specifically to this point that we will take on the task to draft new guidelines for the town to, again, assure that any developer coming in the town understands what is acceptable and what is complete streets and what is green streets and all those sorts of terms now, which are very popular and very good, how to relate their design to bringing something into the town that we will enjoy and like. So that's really all I wish to say about the design guidelines, other than the two tranches that I mentioned are in your hands, commissioners. And if you don't have any reading already scheduled, you know, it's probably not a bad idea to start going through and kind of looking what's on the ground right now. And then perhaps as we move into February's meeting, and perhaps after, of course, the master plan is adopted by the council, then we can start, you know, setting forth a plan to tackle this task, okay? And I mean, that's just it. So kind of see where we are with reading the documents that John's provided us, and then maybe we have a richer discussion in February as to how do we want to move forward on our objective for the town's master plan. Any discussion, questions, elaboration on that? Any other ideas? Good enough. John, did you want to add to any of that?
No, I was just thinking, it would be good to have some input from the planning commission prior to the, you know, at that February meeting. So I'm going to put it as an agenda item that we can at least openly discuss it. It should be information that could be provided to the committee and to the moving forward. So I think it's good to leave that on the agenda.
Gotcha. Yeah. I think by my last count, and don't hold me to it, I think we have 26 such objectives in the current draft master plan.
Is that right?
26 specific focused things that the Planning Commission, in concert with a variety of other commission boards, the council, the mayor, we've all kind of distilled down what are the big things we want to go after to make the town better over the next several years. And so, you know, those are those things where we'll try to focus our, you know, limited energy and resources on. So the guidelines is one of them. And the big picture is that we have a lot of work cut out for us to do. So anyway, thanks so much, John. And no other comments. Then before we get into reports and other business, a little bit of leeway as the chair here, I want to just make mention of Carroll County is embarking on writing their master plan at the county level. And John has provided back on the day or the lobby table here copies of their efforts, and Commissioner Hadley has got a copy up here and she's holding them up. I believe the town website has made these announcements. And so the bottom line being Mount Airy is being given an opportunity to talk to the county planners, Carroll County planners, on their broad grand strokes on what they want to put in their next 10-year county master plan. They're doing kind of a round robin through the county. Our turn in that opportunity is on February 12, and it is a walk-in between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. at the library. And so again, Carroll County is interested in the citizens' views with regard to the future of the county to be put into their master plan, and you will be given an opportunity to have that discussion on February 12th between 1 and 7 p.m. And there's no set agenda, as I understand it. They've set it up so that they'll have people there, and as you walk in and raise your discussion or your ideas, they'll engage you, okay? So there's not like a briefing at a certain time that you have to be seated. It's a walk-in kind of engagement. So if you can fit your schedule in on February 12th, then that would be a good thing to kind of give them some information. I would also be transparent with the town that as part of that same effort, there's going to be a smaller group. John, the town administrator, Heather Smith, and myself have been invited to come up and talk to those same planners with an even more focus on what the town would be looking for in the grander county master plan. And so we have been given some specific questions in that engagement, that invitation. And John, is it fair, without Heather here, I don't want to overstep, but I think prior to that sit down, which is scheduled in March, we're going to sit down and we're going to run our thinking so that there's a general consensus on the answers regarding the town and how we take that consensus higher within the town, which would be I'd like to do that, with the mayor, with perhaps the council through Council Member Evans, just so that everybody is kind of on the proverbial same page, right? Is that fair?
That's affirmative, yep.
Okay, good. All right. And it escapes me when that March meeting is with them, but I want to say March 8th. But anyway, so
We'll do that probably beginning of February after the council meeting.
Great. And we'll get, and probably what we ought to do too is just get the questions out to all those other town leaders so they can see, kind of what we're exploring. And then maybe as a way to kind of work our way up through the hierarchy of town leadership, we would come to a consensus or what we think would be good answers. And then we kind of raise it to their level for even, richer answers or better answers.
They might have questions for us too that are more specific than what they gave us in their
Right.
thing. So I think it's good that we were going to meet
Yep.
prior to that meeting.
Yeah. So again, for the public, we've got this county plan. We've got opportunities for the citizen level, and we also have opportunities town-specific level. And we hope to contribute to a really good plan for Carroll County. I don't think there was any other item we wanted to kind of flex into tonight. John, did you? No? Okay, gotcha. So with that, I'll move right into number 7, reports. And if Councilman Evans has a report from the council, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On January 13th, we had the town council due to the weather on the 6th, and it was scheduled after the public hearing for the master plan. The public hearing was scheduled at 6:30. There was a pretty good turnout for it. There was nothing major that needed addressing that we hadn't already addressed as far as changing the master plan. For the town council meeting, Mr. Wayne Evans presented the Hall of Fame inductees for this year. Hall of Fame banquet is March 18th, starting at 5 for the social hour and 6 for the dinner. Tickets are $30 and can be purchased at the Blossom and Basket Boutique. Inductees are Mary Jo Burkett, Adele Connolly, Matt Hurd, Jack Steele, and Fran Wimmer. We also said goodbye to Major Rolfe of the Civil Air Patrol as he received a promotion, is moving on. His replacement is Captain John Picard, and he will be taking over immediately. Historical Society of Mount Airy will be hosting their annual Boxes and Bags Bingo on Saturday, February 8th. Doors open at 5 and bingo starts at 7. And that's at the Mount Airy Reception Hall. Election season is here. There are 2 town council seats up for election and 1 mayoral seat. Nominations can be accepted at both nomination meetings on February 18th and February 25th, or by contacting Holly, the town clerk at Town Hall. During the week of the 2 nomination meetings, Eligible individuals seeking elective office may submit a nomination. Eligible citizens may nominate an individual with the written consent of that nominee. As far as ordinances go, we made a motion to table ordinance 2024-24. We tabled it for February. There was a budget amendment adding $95,000 to Rails and Trails East for culvert and paving modifications. Please contact Town Hall if you are interested in serving on any of our commissions to be a volunteer. Our next town council meeting will be February 3rd at 7:30 on Town Hall. And pending any questions, that will conclude my report for January.
Thank you again. Any questions for Councilmember Evans for the council?
It was
Thanks.
a very, very short meeting,
Gotcha.
setting records.
And moving on to the administrator report, zoning administrator report, John, I'm just going to let you address those. They are in front of all of us, and they do go back to November.
Yep, so we have November and December, and then of course we have the annual totals for the year. It sort of shows all the building permits we put out through the town through this past year. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Any questions for John regarding the year's permitting activity? Okay, hearing none. John, thank you so much. And our last item is to make mention of the next Planning Commission meeting in February. That will be on February 24th, again, that Monday evening at 7:30 here in Town Hall. So please come out again, February 24th. Last call down the dais for any other topics that may be introduced. Seeing none, then it is 8 p.m. and I adjourn this Planning Commission meeting. Thank you very much.